It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Quite get in the building.
Leave me today. I want to say Obiajulu is back in the building.
YK special announcement. How you doing, YK?
I can rest.
No, you can't rest though. You can't rest though.
Don't rest.
Let me miss you pass. If I say I don't want to come, people say, it's only 3 of you, I do 4 of you.
Yes.
You have to come. Can you do 3 days? I say, hi.
You can't wait for Obiajulu to come back.
What?
Making you wake up at 4 a.m.
Obiajulu is back. Oh, God.
Thank you.
Let's start school.
Thank you.
Good to have you, YK. Mariam, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm okay.
I love the jeans. I wish you could stand up.
She can
Mariah,
stand up.
I've worn
Shake.
these jeans before.
You have?
Yes, and you have seen it before. So Mariah has this very lovely habit. Every time she sees you in an outfit, it does not matter how many times she's worn it. It's always like new to her. She's like, oh my God, I love this on you, you know. So thank you, Mariah.
Oh, stand up now.
Okay.
Show all these things that I've been pinching since.
Anyway, how are you doing though?
I'm fine. I'm doing amazing, and I'm just grateful to God. A few months ago, I had some personal issues, health issues with family members.
Right.
It was really weighing on me. In fact, I didn't realize how much it was weighing on me until they're all doing much better now, and you know they are thriving, and I feel so much lighter, and I'm just so grateful to God. I know I had mentioned, you know, that I was grateful for good health, but now I see them doing so well, and I am so grateful. And it's really, good health is so important. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a good place.
Obiajulu, newcomer. How you doing? Welcome to Nigeria.
Today is shout out day to fans who took me out in the US.
Oh.
Yes, they did. They sent me a message. So that Auntie Latifa that came here when
Yes,
she came to Nigeria,
yes.
she took me out. We had a lovely time. She took me to a Mexican restaurant.
Fantastic.
And, you know, she was all about praises. She was praising the ladies. So she watches the show. She's learned so much from the show and everything. We talked about business, everything all together. We had fun. Then Buki, another fan of ours, who has been following the show from inception.
Wow.
You know, she knows everybody. She had good things to say about everybody. She happened to be my sister's friend.
Ah.
Used to,
wow.
yeah. And you know, there was a time during my birthday that my sister put up my picture. I was like, do you know this person? She said, yes, my younger sister. Your younger sister. I've been following her. She took me to a Thai restaurant. We had fun. We talked
fantastic.
about the show. She said she's learned a lot. She just finished her master's. She's inspired by every one of us on the show. It was a good time. Tomorrow, I'll shout out to my customers who came to pick up heads.
Please continue. I'll give you. You know it's your day. Let me give you. Continue. You got the floor, honey.
Yes, you know, I announced before I traveled
Yeah.
that I was going to be in France, UK, and the US. So people who wanted to buy hairs should pay, and some of them did.
Yeah.
And they came to meet me in Woolwich, and they picked up their hairs. They loved the show. They wouldn't have known me if I was not on the show.
Fantastic.
So I said I should greet everybody. YK power. Everybody was like, "Now YK, you know." And
Fantastic.
they just I felt good, you know, doing something that inspires a lot of people. They said their grandmothers, their mother-in-laws, everybody watches the show and they love what we do. We should keep doing what
Thank
we're
you.
doing.
We
Thank
love
you
you.
so much.
We love you right back.
Yeah.
Today is Mariam's mom's birthday, Funke. Happy birthday, Funke.
Nice.
I almost
Happy
forgot.
birthday,
Oh,
mommy.
nice.
Happy birthday.
And they cook palemo. Yeah.
Preparation.
Yes, so in fact, we're all in thinking mood.
Why?
Wedding in these austerity measures.
Oh my God.
All right, that's gonna break. It's our distant day, but first, we'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
A floor atiku will be at Tribunal. Customs redeploys officers. Unilag students protest. Tribunal sacks another Kogi APC senator. $14 billion deal with Indian businessmen excites president. NLC directs members to resume work. Fire God's fans accounts unit airport basement. And Lagos Kano, 3 others worst hit by food nutrition crisis, says UNICEF. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Can start with NLC. So the Nigerian Labour Congress has ended its 2-day warning strike, directing its members to resume work today. The Congress described the participation of the affiliate unions in the warning strike as a show of undaunted and resilient commitment to defend Nigerian workers and citizens against man-made economic hardship. And, they were also asking the affiliate unions to stand by for indefinite strike in case the federal government refuses to take effective action to, lift the sufferings of the workers, which was occasioned by the removal of the fuel subsidy. So he says, that's the NLC President, Joe Ajero, and I quote, he said, "We write to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our dedicated affiliates, state councils and esteemed members for their unwavering support and active participation in the recent two-day nationwide strike. The collective effort was undertaken to emphasize a strong conviction that the government should prioritize welfare of our citizens and adhere to established statutes," among other things that he said. But corresponding reports also gave that the strike was successful in some states and flopped in other states. In Sokoto State, for instance, said the NLC had to hail their members for complying. And we know that in Lagos State, it was more like partial compliance. Most people were, going about their duties. Also affected the Enugu State Electricity Distribution Company. It said that it caused them a loss of supply in parts of their network. So they were not able to give light to their people, and among other things.
Yes, so I have Nigeria offers the best returns on investment. Our President Bola Tinubu told some Indian investors at a business roundtable yesterday in New Delhi. Remember, I took in the papers that he was in New Delhi, India, meeting with some business people, and he said that this presidential roundtable and business conference was organized by the Nigerian High Commission in India in collaboration with the Confederation of Indian Industry. Anyway, first of all, the investors have agreed to, or have pledged, or to invest about $14 billion into our economy, and our president commended them for that. And he says, anyways, there's nowhere else that offers the sort of investment opportunities now available in Nigeria. He said his administration has resolved to drive an economy that will support profit-making investments. Of course, the investors too had a bit of some worries. They said that they know Nigerians for their constant change in policies, and our president says, he's our marketer in chief. He says we should look at what happened in the past as twists and turns of politics, which is not peculiar to Nigeria, but also applicable to some of the oldest contemporary democracies like the United States. So it's not just our problem, it's something that you would encounter anywhere. And he says that here, he says, we are the people that pledge to represent the bureaucracy, the authority in many ways here. Before you and the captain of the ship is myself, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I can only promise you that I will captain the vessel of development, prosperity, and democracy fully for Africa, the largest democracy, and for the rest of the world.
He's giving himself, he's giving his word. He's going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
The major headline yesterday's tribunal, we're going to discuss a bit later, but very quickly, the 5 of the key highlights of yesterday's judgment was number 1, 25%. Taking 25% in Abuja as condition for victory is not mandatory. The APC lacks the local standard to challenge Obi's LP candidacy. The EU's report is not tenable. Tinubu's forfeiture of cash in the US not criminal. And transmission of poll results at INEC's portal discretional. So those are the key 5 judgments I was giving, but we'll discuss it much later on the show.
I wanted to just take that the APC, the ruling All Progressive Party has lost out to the Kogi to the PDP candidate, Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan.
She's been at it for a while, and I'm so happy for her. Congratulations, Natasha. That's the story. Okay, moving on now to Punch. Atiku plan appeal as election tribunal dashes bid to sack Tinubu. 17-year-old boy locks his parents up and steals car. Tribunal's APC loses 2 National Assembly seats. PDP wins 1. MMIA fire. Air traffic controllers relocate to mobile tower. Consumers protest as FG hikes electricity meter price by 40%. NNPCL falls sale of NAOC assets to Ando. And gas revenue drops by 3.3 trillion in 12 months, says report. Which story are we taking?
Can I take the 17-year-old boy?
Oh, sure, please.
Who was simply identified as Ayomikbosi Eson. I'm not sure which Eson. So anyway, he locked his parents in the house and stole 2 generators, a Toyota Corolla, and a sound system, and 3 phones, 3 mobile phones. And but the parents reported to the police, and it took the effort of all their neighbors to come and to get them out of the house because he had locked them and taken away. So the police now arrested him. They apprehended him, and in Lagos actually, this happened in Shagamu. I forgot to say, This happened in Shagamu, and he drove to
Shagamu
Lagos.
is not Lagos now. Shagamu is not Lagos.
No, they found him in Lagos.
Oh, okay. He drove to Lagos.
Okay.
And the parents say they don't want to prosecute. They dropped the charges. I thought this story was interesting because he should be punished. Maybe not by the police, but by the parents because
he's an adult now. What kind of punishment would
he's 17.
Okay.
He's 17. He's a 17-year-old child.
Cases like this.
My own question is,
punishment?
what would you do if it was your child? I don't know because I wouldn't be able to have my child over to the police.
I think the parents would do what most parents are doing. I don't know about rights, but I think the state would take up the case anyway.
No, if the parents don't prosecute,
the state should be able to take up the case.
He's a minor now.
Juvenile delinquent.
I don't think.
We'll see. Moving on, another story in Punch.
Be able to tell us.
Yeah, so the federal government Wednesday announced an increase in the prices of single-phase and three-phase prepaid electricity meters and declared that the hike takes effect from September 6th, that's yesterday. So they announced this in an order released by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and also jointly signed by the Commission's chairman, Sanusi Garba, and his commissioner, Legal Licensing and Compliance, Dafe, and they were saying that the single-phase meter will now cost 81,975 naira 16 kobo from the previous price of 56,661 naira 69 kobo, while the price of the three-phase meter is now raised to 143,836 naira 10 kobo from 109,684 naira 36 kobo. So power consumers, were bothered about this, and they were wondering why the government why the government continues to hike the cost of various commodities in Nigeria, especially at this time, and they were saying that, according to NEC, it says that it was fair, reasonable pricing for the marketers. They also had an issue of some of the marketers deciding to pull out from supplying meters to individuals and companies because they felt that they were not able to get their profits from the money invested, and if they don't change the price, they will pull out of it. Also, inflation affected it. The forex change also affected it, and
that's a major issue.
But now the consumers, are being hit. We are the ones who are going to buy meters, double, pay electricity, double.
Produce these machines ourselves. As long as they're bringing them outside from this.
But there's no plan to produce ourselves.
So it's not that we can do right now. Okay, another story in Punch. We move on.
Waki took my story.
Okay, let's move on. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing. Let me move on now to Vanguard. Why atiku Obi petitions against Tinubu fail, says Tribunal. Oyetola declares interest in NIMASA's floating dock lists agenda. Multiple taxation hindering Nigeria's economic growth, says NCC. Strike day 2. We recorded greater compliance, says NLC. Right. Pandemonium as fire guts Lagos airport. UK to declare Wagner Group terrorist organization, says report. Fee hike, policeman tear gas protesting Unilag students. And Tinubu in India attracts $14 billion investments. Okay, which story are we starting with?
So there was a riot that happened in Unilag. The anti-riot policemen of Lagos State Police Command and other security agencies in the early hours of yesterday now arrested some leaders of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, and they were protesting the recent hike in tuition by the university. Unilag, Akoka, and some other federal government-owned universities. So the security operatives took the university's main gate and they tried to prevent the students and other individuals from entering the compound. Even the newly admitted students were not able to enter. Those people were still currently doing their screening, and their parents also were turned back by security men after they had to cordon off the area. So the students converged as early as 8 a.m., Sabo area of Yaba, and they displayed different placards with different inscriptions. They were chanting solidarity songs against the tuition hike. Then the policemen, according to the story, said they fired tear gas canisters to disperse them. But the students later regrouped, moving towards the university gates, where some of them were now arrested. So speaking on behalf of the students, the president-elect of the Faculty of Education Students Association, Unilag, Balogun Oladeji Ibrahim, accused the police area commander of ordering his men to shoot canisters at them and also to arrest some of the protesting students. So they said they were going to stay there till those students, I think about 5 of them who were arrested, will be released. So far, we've not gotten any other updates on that.
Okay.
Okay, there was a fire at the Murtala Mohammed Airport yesterday where passengers and airline operators had to be evacuated. They saw them running, but they evacuated everybody. And in another paper, they shut down the
Terminal?
No,
the control room or
control
the tower.
room.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They said the fire started from basements in the and what came out really was smoke. But for just to be on the safe side, the fire engines, everybody, they mobilized everybody. They came in and they got everything under control. They don't know the immediate cause, but they will.
It came from the basement.
Yeah.
Okay, any other story in Vanguard? I was going to take Wagner for those of us interested in the story, watching international news. So the UK government is set to label Wagner Group as a terrorist organization. According to Sulia Braverman, the Home Secretary says that Wagner is violent and destructive, is a military tool of Putin, and is a threat to global security, and due to his work in Africa and Ukraine. Obviously, I think Putin is really threatening them as in their involvement in Africa. So Wagner's continuing destabilizing activities only continue to serve the Kremlin's political goals, and they are terrorists, plain and simple, and this prescription order makes that clear in the UK law. So that's going to be happening today. They're going to prescribe Wagner Group a terrorist
Wagner
organization.
is dead.
No, the group is Wagner, but the guy that's, let me get his full name.
The owner is dead.
So yeah, the Prigozhin, yes, has been declared dead. But the group is still there. Said the leader mobilized his troops in a failed mutiny against the country's military. Putin described the mutiny as a stab in the back and vowed that anyone involved will face consequences. So that's just an update on that story. Okay, let's move on quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune and another story that's interesting. We've not taken. FG increases price of prepaid electricity meters. Okay, you took that already. Nigeria only OPEC member without shipping line, says Oyetola. Tribunal declares Natasha Akpoti Ali winner of Kogi Central Oyo South senatorial polls. Shake-up in customs as acting CG redeploys area controllers. Students protest over fees at Unilag. 5 escape death, property destroyed as flood ravages Ekiti. And finally, how fire incidents created panic at Lagos Airport. Okay.
I have OPEC. So the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, that's Adeboyega Oyetola, he has lamented Nigeria is the only member of OPEC that doesn't have a national shipping. And he says that that's for it to bear its flag. And he says, and he's recommending the establishment of a national carrier, but through a PPA, public-private partnership arrangement for freight transport in the country. He says when we do this, we'll be able to end over 30% of freight charges within Nigeria. And he's also saying that he's not calling for the reestablishment of the moribund NNSL, that's the Nigerian National Shipping Line. He's asking for something different. And then he also considered the Nigerian Maritime, that's NIMASA modular floating dock. He says that the floating dock has the capacity to generate jobs and stem capital flight and therefore called on the agency to explore the buy-in of stakeholders. He also expressed government's determination to reposition maritime sector for the welfare and well-being of Nigerians. Good conversations so far. Let's just see how these things get implemented.
Okay. Any other story we've not taken?
So they said 5 persons on Tuesday, narrowly escaped death in Urije River in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. They said the river overflowed its bank and wreaked havoc on surrounding buildings and other properties. The 5 persons were coming from Urije area and were trying to navigate the flooded bridge when they were overrun by, the fast-flowing water, which drowned them in the valley. So according to the story, they said people on the other side saw what was happening to them and they quickly waded in, and that was how they were able to escape. But then the flood also destroyed different properties. Said it flooded over 5 hours. And also had downpour in Emiri Estate, Olokomeji area, Ilupeju Avenue, and other areas. And some of the victims said they lost millions of naira. Some houses were, flooded, and there were a lot of losses. And they've been complaining. Said this is the 10th time it's happening in that area, and they were calling out to the government to do something about it. I think one of the the Deputy Governor, Chief Monish Shade, also, regretted the level of the havoc and said they are going to try and work out mechanisms that would help the people in those areas going forward.
Okay, final paper, The Guardian. I'm not sure we have any story there, but let's find a story that's different. Stakeholders raise concern over next hike in price of prepaid meters. Why election matters are difficult to prove in court by Tonye Cole. 17.7 million Nigerians hungry and others face acute food insecurity. 6,000 cargoes abandoned at Apapa Tinkan port since 2011. And athletics, why it was all wobbling, fumbling on the Budapest track. And the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Mr. Adigboyega, said that about 6,000 abandoned cargoes are lying at Apapa and Tinkan port uncleared since 2011. He said that the customs physical examination in the clearing process is compounding the problem of the overtime cargoes at the port, adding that the abandoned cargo occupies space and cost the country huge losses. Also, the customs had done a bit of rejigging. They actually moved some of their heads around, and some people were moved to Tinkan Island, some were moved to the ports and all that, just to rejig the system a bit to see. Hopefully that would help in reduce the tension that happens at the ports. But when the minister is saying that 6,000 cargoes have not been cleared since 2011, that in itself speaks of inefficiency at the highest level. So hopefully this rejigging would, gross inefficiency. All right, that's all we can take on the paper review. When we return, it's our gisting day. So we're going to be gisting about the tribunal. What did you see? What did you hear? What are your thoughts? We're going to open our phone lines. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So the whole of Nigeria is talking about yesterday's tribunal judgment. Everybody's discussing it, but as I said, until your view discusses it, it hasn't really been discussed, because we are the show that Nigerians look towards to hearing the views of Nigerians. So please call us on the numbers on your screen. We'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Not just the technical part of it, because we already know what the judgments are. There are 5 key points that I said earlier, but just for a quick review, all 5 members of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal yesterday in Abuja unanimously affirmed Bola Tinubu as a validly elected president of Nigeria. A decisive judicial resolution of the credibility questions that have hovered around the elections for the past 6 months. And I said earlier there were 5 key points. Let me just state that out very quickly. The 25% in Abuja, taking 25% in Abuja doesn't mean that it's not mandatory for victory because Abuja residents don't have a special status. They're just Nigerians like everybody else. Secondly, APC lacks the local standing to challenge Obi's LP candidacy because it's an internal party issue. It doesn't concern the tribunal. The EU report was not tenable because the author of the report didn't provide it to the court properly, to the proceedings properly for usage as evidence. Thirdly, Tinubu's forfeiture of cash in the US is not criminal because according to them, 2003, they got a letter that was initiated by the Inspector of General Police requesting directly from the US at the time if it was a criminal offense. And you're saying, according to that report, it still stands that it's not criminal. And finally, transmission of poll results at INEC's portal is discretional because according to the Electoral Act, INEC is independent and they can actually decide which method they use in collation and also their own discretion in deciding how the results are transmitted. So the electronic was an addition, but it was not the primary tool of collation. Either way, the president's victory has been affirmed. But aside from these 5 key points, what are your own observations about the tribunal? 12 hours. The tribunal took 12 hours, started at 9:27 on the dot. I would watch the time when it started, and it finished at 10:01 p.m.
Wow.
last night. So almost 13 hours actually, but let's just say 12 hours. So and we saw so many things. People said some people were sleeping, some people were yawning. In fact, I saw a few things, but we'd like to hear from Nigerians. What did you see? What did you hear? What are your thoughts on the entire proceedings? Call us on 081-764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. YK, let me start with you. What did you see? What did you hear?
First and foremost, I hardly watched it. Every time I put on the TV, it was there. I saw them. Everyone. You see those black gowns and wigs. It's still the vestiges of colonialism. We are not thinking like Africans. Why are you still in America? They have drummed their own wig and gown. It's Africa? Why are we still wearing wig and gown? Eh?
Not wig, like a blonde wig. Blonde. Not just wig, it's blonde.
Then it's curls. And they're all sitting down there like penguins. I was like, come on.
YK, this is our lawyer. Let us respect
No.
our judiciary.
I'm sorry. I respect you. You are fantastic people. I'm just saying, shouldn't we start to drop those colonial structures and
accoutrements?
You know? And then they all sat down there, and nobody is mourning anybody. They all sat down there in black. And every time I put my TV on, that's what I saw. Switch it off again. In fact, when the part took light, I was even happy.
Let me come
when
to
they
you.
came back, wait, I haven't finished. When he came back, they were still there. I said, I will look at the time. 6 o'clock, running. I let me watch my favorite, journalist hangout.
They are still on it.
They are still on it. Another one, they're still on it. Irony. I said, these people. Then I now started to watch them. They were sleeping. There was one particular guy, the camera was on him, and he was doing.
Imagine.
Then he realized. He realized that
the camera may be on him.
The camera may be on him, so he carried his phone, and he did like this. He now proceeded to sleep. And my nephew and I were watching. We were laughing. Look, he has slept. There's another woman, when they touch her like this, she has woken up from her deep slumber. Then I was wondering, the judges, are they not sleeping too?
No,
If lawyers are
They had to read.
Because they're following each other as they're reading every word. Let me come to Mariam. Your words. What were your observations?
I watched it. As I didn't watch, of course, the whole thing.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't watch the whole thing, and also my daughter was watching as well. Poor child. She felt she kept asking questions. So at first I thought, my God, such a smart child. She wants to know more. In the end, have they finished now? Can I change the channel? But she was like, why is it taking so long? I used the opportunity to educate her. Let me tell you what I said so that you tell me if I did well. I said they had to take, I said there's so many things that the judges have to take one after the other. And I said an example of her and her brother when they come and report each other to me. I said, how do you feel when I say, okay, it's okay, sorry, and go? You don't like it. You want me to take every single complaint and listen to it and then explain it and break it down. Doesn't that make you feel better? She said, yes. I said, so that's what they have to do. And they have so many complaints on their table right now. I don't want anyone to feel bad, like they were not
some
really
people still felt bad now.
Yes, but I saw all those who were sleeping. I knew that, I said it yesterday that this thing can be quite boring and lengthy. But if you are part of the, if you're part of it, you would, if you're part of it, you have no choice but to be, to pay attention. But I can imagine how long.
So those ones that were sleeping, uncle?
It happens here. Let me tell you the ones that I felt bad for. The lawyers that were representing LP and PDP. When they had already started hearing that it's been cancelled, but they still had to sit to the end of it. If it's not going my way, I'll get up and leave. But you can't even leave. You have to sit down and listen to this thing throughout. But I feel that it's important that we listen to things like this, We make a lot of conversations, not really knowing facts.
Yeah.
And things like this afford us the opportunity.
People still don't know
afford us the opportunity. See, I said yesterday that there's a way that judges speak. Most of it I don't understand, but I was watching it and reading analysis. The TV stations were also giving like short summaries of what was happening, So I was able to keep, to keep abreast of what was happening. But I must admit it was quite long and boring.
That's why I have to ask you a question. Can't they write it, give it to us to read, those of us that are interested in reading 12 hours of proceedings, to read by ourselves? Then they do it in 2 hours. They are
show us like the conclusion, the summary.
So you that you are interested in the 12 hours, go and read it. You that you are not.
That's what the guy who objected.
Wait. This is Nigeria. It's a lie. What did they write? As long as you not hear it from their mouth, you say these people, they went and reprinted they doctored it. They reprinted something else.
The answer.
That was not what they said in court. Why did we broadcast it? Never used to be. It was demanded. Nigerians demanded that it be broadcast so that you can see it. Now they realize that it's not like Matlock, where
Nigerians
will come and give
it
takes a whole
but they didn't broadcast.
You can't do that. That's we are irresponsible.
But the thing
you
is,
now know the faces of all the witnesses. That would be unfair on private citizens.
It was good. Now you understand what it takes, how long it takes. That not everything is usually about trying to hoodwink somebody or change something.
We'll still come to the intricacies of the tribunal, but I'd like to just hear your observation. I mean, I saw. I don't know. I think I'm the only person that saw this part of this whole thing. The lawyers at the front said, I think it's maybe the LP lawyers, they were really hungry, and the guy, there's a lady and a guy next to it. So he had biscuits, and he offered her biscuit. And as he offered her the biscuit, she realized that the camera is on. She now pushed it down. Don't come and embarrass us here now. She now put the biscuit under the table. Obviously, wasn't picking one or two. But when she was about to put it in her mouth, the camera took it away. I was like so angry. They have captured.
They have like a recess?
No, they probably had break time. They probably had break time. But they will start up and excuse themselves. But I saw the fact that she actually pressed his hand down because the green wrapper showed on camera, and she pushed his hand down. We don't embarrass us here.
The reason the camera didn't stay was they didn't want to embarrass them.
Of course.
Because the cameraman was hungry.
Let me come to you.
So the thing is, it looked Herculean for us because it's not our thing, right? But for lawyers and judges, that's all they prepare for. That's their life.
Sending him a text.
Hail her.
They find another profession.
That's their job. That's what they are there for, and that's their time to shine. So they must listen, even when the other parties are not really getting the wins. They will be there to listen, because also remember that if they have to go for an appeal, some of the things they hear would also be what they would, pile up to do their appeal. So it's their thing, it's their job. We respect them for that. But you cannot expect me, an ordinary citizen, to sit down for 12 hours and be listening to that. I want the summary in text. I'm not going to be asking whether they doctored it or not. I trust that the judiciary, by the time they release the proceedings and everything. I will get the summary. That works for me. And the fact that sort of calmed a lot of people. You know, I saw some
people,
videos. Yes,
yeah.
some people. I saw some videos where some persons were drumming and dancing and gloating.
Yeah, gloating.
You know,
please gloat respectfully.
Do we need to gloat?
Exactly.
Exactly. Don't gloat.
It's our country.
Yes.
Together.
Democracy won, not you.
Not
Yes.
you. Not your party.
Exactly.
You know, not
It's
your
democracy.
party. And the fact also that they had to focus on the facts and evidence. So this is not about prejudice. This is not about what we think should be. This is not the ideal. It's about, are you able to defend your case? Okay, in this one, what did you present? What did you bring? It's fact. We need to begin to work with.
You know, I like where you're taking us to BNBC, because I think what I got from this entire proceeding, which I'll come to ladies, is I think now, aside from the emotional part of the elections, we need to see how important it is to gather proper evidence.
Yes, so
it's not about saying, come and vote, yeah, just post and take picture. No, we need to educate our electorate. How do we responsibly get evidence that is tenable in court? Who can explain to us what is right? What should have been done better? One of the issues LP had, they didn't have enough agents in polling units to have evidences of overvoting or maybe duplications here. They didn't have enough polling, they didn't enough agents. So you're saying that, oh, they falsified here, they falsified. Show me evidence of it. You don't have anybody to have it. So it was quite painful, because I was looking for a very nice and robust argument.
Yeah.
Even if the LP did not win, but come with something that I show that, yes, I have this. These are important documents that would strengthen our democracy. But with this, I was even embarrassed when I saw some of these things.
Yeah, they said a lot of things were based on hearsay.
Yeah.
Of course, the tribunal needed much more than that to go on. But for me, I was going to say also, it gave me a better appreciation for our judiciary.
Yeah.
You know, to even see the way the lawyers conducted themselves before the judges. I mean, do you remember a particular lawyer that stood up and said he was confused and interrupted the judge? And they said to him, you know, first of all, I think it was an insult to them, first of all, that they are passing judgment and then you stand up to interrupt them. And then eventually, he seemed so afraid when they were talking to him. He was like, I'm not confused anymore. I'm like, see how
somebody's father. Somebody's father.
You know, the judges. So this process, we see them too much. We call them out anyhow. We should be careful, though. It's highly respectable and respectful profession. So we commend you to see the hours that they spent, even just sitting there through the tiredness and
was there any instance?
Did you see the chief counsel for LP, the chief counsel, Michael Zekome? Those ones did not stand up. I don't remember seeing Mike standing up for 1 second. And even there's some people who did not, they sat through it. I mean, I watched most of it. I only missed about 3 hours because from a party I went to, but I watched it, and I saw these people. They don't stand up. Oh, this one, even okay, Kazim Shettim, the vice president, he also did not sleep. I saw him. He stood up eventually at some point, but he was there alert. His eyes were wide open.
But should we call out the cameraman? Why now?
No, it's content.
You see someone dozing off, why do you now zoom on the person and take a...
That's content.
If you are sleeping, you are sleeping.
I just feel that if I'm the cameraman and I see someone dozing off, I will quickly take it.
Okay, let me go.
If I was the cameraman, if that person sleeping, go. That's
why you're not the cameraman. That's why you're not the cameraman. Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines to hear Nigerians' views on it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking about yesterday's judgment. But you see, this sleeping thing we were talking about earlier, in fairness to them, I think in the afternoon, I didn't see much people sleeping. The sleeping happened much earlier in the day, and I think it's probably they had breakfast. When you have a heavy breakfast, knowing that, okay, you guys need a lot of energy for the whole day. So they went in there fed. So it's possible that was what caused the sleeping, because by afternoon, everybody was awake and alert towards the day. So I think that's probably what caused the sleeping.
No.
Yes,
I watched it in the night. The guy I saw sleeping was in the night with one woman like this. Like when they woke up, she was it was in the night. Me, I saw them sleeping. I didn't watch it during the day.
There was a lady that was nodding. She was nodding like she was, I'm listening to what you're saying. But you could see that she was just
But there are two things that I think that we've not touched on. And as regards observation, the cameras didn't face the judges.
That's what I was asking. We didn't see the judges.
Yeah, because I think that's also maybe, I don't know if that was intentional, because I saw the cameraman sitting on the floor and they're facing the crowd or the audience, not the actual judges. I'm not sure why that was. Probably.
I think there are codes of conduct for that sort of profession. There's a way they give them their respect, So putting the judges in, normally they would have refused this to be even transmitted live, but they had to allow because of the peculiarity of the Nigerian problem, yes. But then facing the judges, making them some sort of celebrities, not in their... I just believe it's not what they would prefer, especially with their code of conduct. And I know that even back in school when you're studying law, there's a way they separate themselves from the regular students. There are some things they cannot be caught doing. There are some colors they cannot be caught wearing. You understand? So it's something that I believe is part of what they do to protect the sanctity of that.
Let me take a few comments. I have this from Otumba Karim. Says that, good morning, ladies. Yesterday's judgment was epoch-making. Aside Obafemi Awolowo's treason trial, it was the longest. It was deep, factual, down to earth, and energy sapping. Kudos to the learned jurists. Most importantly, let me single out the lady jurist. She was unapologetic, factual, and spared no one. She called the spade by its name. The icing on the cake was the live telecast that in a way served many purposes, very educative for those who wish to learn, remove doubts and half-truths, and douse tension in the land. So do you agree that it doused tension? Because, people thought that once you hear the judgment, there might be rioting and protest out there. That's why we had security spread across. But I think the fact that the judgment was quite detailed, whether every layman could understand the reasoning behind each judgment, like it was laid out in plain terms that you that are even listening, they want to go and protest outside, you just think that, are you sure they don't have evidence? Are you sure that the witnesses, out of 13, only 3 were telling, but even the 3 self, you are now thinking, for me to go and protest, let me be sure I know what I'm protesting, because it made it very crystal clear to what we are dealing with here.
Yes, that helped, definitely. Because you know that many of us, we get off stories from each other and from social media, and we know as human beings, we embellish some, we exaggerate a bit.
Yes.
But with the courts or at the tribunal, you heard the facts. And you had the lawyers that were involved in pleading the case from the get-go all seated there. So they were also aware of, what was being read. But also there was the option, there is the option, which I hear one of the party or both parties would be taking, which is they would appeal it. They don't necessarily have to accept it, So it doused the tension for so many people who did not know for sure what the facts were. Now you listen for yourself. There's always something, when you listen to something for yourself, you now get context and you're like, and I was angry before. Now I'm not, okay, now I get it. So there was that, but then there's also the fact that there are people who are strong loyalists, die-hard loyalists, who there's nothing that would change their minds. They believe what they believe, and they will still go through the course until they find some sort of justice.
That's where what I need to ask, because from what you're saying, you watched it, I didn't.
Yeah, most of it.
Everything they said made everything seem crystal clear to you. But the lawyers are still saying no.
Yeah.
They are going to challenge it.
Absolutely.
So if they are going to challenge it, what you heard and what they heard, was it different?
No. We'll come to that in a second. Let me take this call. Ayo's been holding from first start. Good morning, Ayo. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Mariam, and the beautiful ladies in the studio.
Yes.
I'm not a new caller. I've called for
I can't hear them.
the tennis player. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
I'm the tennis player. I called once before.
It's okay. Welcome to the show.
I just want to congratulate President Tinubu because he is a product of my university. I went to Chicago State University. I played lawn tennis for Chicago State University. I was the tennis captain. So on behalf of those of us around that went there to Chicago State University, I say congratulations to President Asiwaju Bola Tinubu.
All right, thank you, sir.
So I wanted to respond to YK to say the difference between the lawyers who want to go back and appeal the case and us is that nobody's paying us for anything. We are now making decisions, informed decisions based on the facts presented and explained to us, right? But the lawyers have a job to do. They are paid to defend their clients. They will tell you that even if a lawyer knows that this person is a thief, as long as the person is, paying, this is a client I have to defend, you will find all the loopholes. You will find it. However, you will listen to things said and not said. You will see beyond what is being presented just because you have a strong case and you are there to defend your client. So I will not use the lawyers to say, because they are going to be appealing, that means everything was not spelled out. They are doing a job and they have been paid for that job. And it will seem like they have failed in defending their clients if they don't go back.
In addition to that, the Constitution is mostly about interpretation. So if I feel that the judges in the tribunal did not properly interpret it based on my petition, I can take it to Supreme Court for a better interpretation. So, for example, you are saying that INEC is independent and it's their discretion to choose how they plan to collate. It can be manual or you can through IRF. That's their own interpretation. The Supreme Court can think otherwise. That, you know what, because you've already said it, that you're going to use electronic, it means that you must be held to that. So there are different interpretations. It depends. So it is within their own right to look for, to go to the Supreme Court, and we'll see how that goes. I think I have a caller. Good morning, are you there? Are they calling from London?
Morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I'm calling from Jos.
Morning.
Yeah.
Morning.
My own contribution, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show, Ade.
Actually, I've been trying to contribute to the program for the past 2 years. When I was in UK, I tried, but unfortunately I couldn't. I think what happened yesterday was, for me, it was an eye-opener to everybody, and it shows that because I've been following a lot of comments on the social media, and what it shows to me that Nigeria is sharply divided along religious, ethnic, and other primordial sentiments. If we are to be rational with the case yesterday, you discover that the lawyers on the side of the Labour Party and the PDP have not really done their homework very well. Very well. And if you look at the ruling, the ruling of the judges, you see that they were so detailed. For every statement, they cited a lot of cases, a lot of laws to back it up. So as far as I'm concerned, I think they are saying that they want to go to the Supreme Court is just a waste of exercise, because the rulings they gave yesterday was very detailed, very, very detailed to me. And I think my advice for the parties is just to go back and start preparing for 2027. Thank you.
I read somewhere that one of the witnesses had downloaded evidence from Amazon, stuff like I'm thinking, this is a tribunal that you need hard evidences, something that you can pick, this is what happened, and you have pictures of evidence, not something you just put online. So, as I said, I really was looking forward to a robust hearing that, these are the facts that were presented, and based on that, either way, I really wanted, but as I said, I was personally disappointed. I really hope that maybe the Supreme Court can have a better, a different interpretation. We'll see how that goes. But let me go on a break. We'll bring in a lawyer, because we're just gisting about our observations. I also observed we didn't really have any southeastern judge in the list.
That's
right. Is that true? I thought I observed. So even if it's for the optics, it would be nice to have somebody from the southeast at least represented.
You have to get to that point.
I mean, I'm just saying that it's
you can't get from a pool.
Yeah.
So you have to have qualified.
So it's who you already have within that pool.
Yeah, I think so.
When the lawyer comes,
we'll find out.
We'll find out when the lawyer. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll have our guest who's a lawyer and probably can shed more light on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining the conversation concerning the tribunal with the ladies is Barrister Kabir Akingbolu. Welcome to the show, sir. He's a lawyer, and I know that you've been on our show a few times. We like it when you come around. And yesterday, we're just talking about the optics, the observations, and we'd like to come to you. What are your own thoughts on the entire proceedings? 12 hours? For us, it was like, what are your own thoughts?
Well, just like some people have observed, and correctly too, in my view, that it's a watershed, or it's a kind of epoch-making, judicial activism in Nigeria. And, there have been arguments for, and there have been arguments against, why was it that they didn't allow live broadcast and they allow live broadcast for the judgment and all that? But when you look at it very well, anything going on in court, nobody has the right to comment for or against. And when they allow live broadcast, there is no how they will not say, that witness did very well. Why is it that the lawyer was pushing him? Why is it that the judge did not answer the question? Why is it that the judge is this and is that? They will have given the judgment even before the end of this thing. And these comments are capable of prejudicing the minds of the judges negatively or otherwise. So it is not good for anybody to allow it to be in the public glare. You see, a lot of public interest litigations have occurred in the country. They won't allow, there will be serious problem if they allow. In fact, they may not be able to complete the sitting. So this is one aspect of it. And again, when you look at the industry put into the stuff, you will find out that the judges were trying to wash off their hands like a Pontius Pilate. That, we have done our own, we are just doing it. And if you look at the Statue of Liberty, we call it, that lady of justice, blind with a sword, with a scale. Once he holds the scale and one person's own is higher, whether it is his brother or not, she's not seen. All he needs to do is to use the axe or whatever they did to cut. So this is one of the things. And when you look at it very well, you will see that it is so objective. And let's be objective here. We are here now in Lagos. If somebody now comes to say, in Ekiti, somebody is doing this, we are not there. He might have polished it. Some of us don't know many things when we begin to cut newspaper, because newspapers cutting, you go and certify, you take it to National Library and all that. It counts for nothing in court of law, in any case at all. You understand? Do you know why? In fact, in one case, justice, and when you see the reasoning, you see that the judges think like angels. Justice Begore, in one case, I think Afar and Governor Kwara said that this newspaper, why newspaper will not be allowed in court is this. The analysis of journalist A will be different from the analysis of journalist B on the same event that happened at the same time, because they are human beings too. So these are some of the intricacies. And Lord Dennis said, no judge worth his salt will be carried away by what is written in newspaper. And if you look at the case of Buhari and INEC, incidentally I was involved, the presidential election, Justice Nikitobi of blessed memory said, the judges of this court have become object of criticism in recent time, and that he could remember vividly that one of the antagonists in this court now, or one of the petitioners or appellant, has benefited positively from the judgment of this court in recent time. When Obasanjo sacked Atiku, he went to court and they said, no, you can't sack him. Judiciary will be good to him then. But when it is against us, it is no longer good. It shouldn't be the way. We should also respect the judiciary. And let me tell you, even in America, the justices give judgment, or they will give judgment at times, and people will not be happy with it. A classical example is the case of O.J. Simpson and the people, where everybody believed that that man killed his girlfriend and the wife, but the judges said no, that he is not the one. You understand? It got to a stage that the judgment nearly tore America apart. And the president had to come on national TV and say, please, the Supreme Court of our land has spoken. Whether we like it or not, we have to respect it, and we have to abide by it, and that is it. And I was, it dropped in that time, when Waike was talking that, they should not be wearing this suit and all that. The suit is not our culture. Judicial system that we are using now is not our culture. We should go to Bale. And the KBACs, as long as we have contract with any company or with the government, we can't go to our obas and trust their own judgment. We shouldn't If we are saying we are going by the English way, we should also abide by that English way. In America, they say, okay, the jettison part of it, they're still wearing gown. It's only that they don't put on wig. They still put everyone down. You understand? Occasionally, the judges can use their discretion and say, oh, the weather is very hot, gentlemen, put down your wig. It happens at times. You understand? So in Nigeria, it happens. The judge will say, and let me tell you, there have been many movements to say, oh, let's stop wearing this. We inherited it from Britain. Britain is no longer using it and all that. But let me tell you, go and tell a local man in the village, it is that wig and gown that make him to want to read law. Maybe.
All right,
And
let me get a few questions for you.
You see doctors wear their own uniform when they want to carry on surgery, green or something in some cases, white in some cases. No, why do we not say?
The reason for that is different.
Yeah.
The reason for that is different.
I would like to know, ma.
The reason because they need to be loose. So they wear those green so that they're not, nothing is hindering.
But they will not wear black.
And
it's always green or white. So there is a culture.
See their stains or...
so you can see their stains. But your own, okay, can you tell me why it's black?
Yeah, you see, we wouldn't know because it's a culture that we inherited.
We
inherited the judicial system.
And what we are saying...
Can it be reviewed?
Can it be reviewed?
Of course it can be reviewed. Yeah. It's over time.
Yeah.
You understand?
Let me get a few questions in for you.
Yeah, so on a lighter note, so, you know, we're wondering why the faces of the judges were not shown. Yes, and I would like you to just give our own opinion.
Yes, you see, judges, once you become a judge, you have become a sort of angel. You are no longer the ordinary human being. When Nigeria was good, you can never see a judge in parties. In fact, as a lawyer, even till today it happens that you are coming on the road, you understand, you see a judge, you have to run. You have to run. You can't just meet and be talking. I remember doing an election presentation sometime in 2019, and when I got to the mosque on a Friday, I met one of the judges. He said, "Salam alaikum." He shook hands with me. Immediately, I disappeared. You understand? Several years after when we met, he said, so there I met you, and I knew you intentionally ran away from me. I said, yes, because if I don't run, if the opposition party should snap our pictures, there is problem. You understand? I have seen a situation that, you know, a judge went to a birthday party of someone. About 15 years after, the father of that person has a case before him, and the senior lawyer just said, my lord, we need to see in chambers. When they got to the chamber, he just brought out the picture. This is the picture of you and this man's daughter. He said, but I've never met the man. The man said, what? There's likelihood, what the court law says is not that, it's not bias, likelihood of it. Once there is likelihood of bias, you recluse yourself. Wow. He wanted to make it, the lawyer said, I don't want to blow it in the open court. And the man recluse immediately. So there are a lot of intricacies involved. Yeah. You can't show the judges. Because one, some people don't know them. Maybe they have said something you don't like. You don't mean that. They also go out socially at night or something. This is the judge of that night. And you understand? They can be targeted. I have seen a situation, a younger brother of mine who is a magistrate, he went to a joint to enjoy himself at night. He went to a very dark place. All of a sudden, somebody brought 2 bottles of beer and said, that man over there said I should give you. By the time he looked at him, he was a man who is still standing trial before him. The guy just stay here. He left. So that's why you see security with them and all that. It is a very difficult job.
Right. Get it. It's important to know the why.
Yeah. So my own question, sorry, I have to ask this one very fast. The trial was, the judgment was so long. For lay people like us, it was too long, 12 hours. Yes. Could it have been shorter, one, so that we didn't fall asleep? Then the lawyers that were sleeping inside the Kinenko.
If under the law, it's contempt of court.
To be sleeping?
Yes. It's an offense. You understand? Because it's a political matter. I've been in court. You can't read newspaper in court. You see, in fact, you can't put your handbag on the table in court. It's not allowed. It's a place for really serious business. Sacred. You cannot just be eating granola. I saw somebody eating granola.
Yeah, biscuits. It was biscuits, I saw.
They were hungry. You understand? Yes, they are hungry. It's understandable. Do you know, it has happened to me. I have seen days that I don't sleep for good 4 days. Not that I sleep for 1 minute, though. Because you have election matters, you must finish within a specified time, and there is no time. You have a lot to achieve.
Talking about
and
that,
now,
sorry.
When you talk, some people have, they have criticized the lawyers, the this and that. It is difficult. Sometimes when you see a bad case, we used to tell our client, this is not a good case. Lawyer, is there nothing we can do? You tell him, 50-50, you say, but let us go and try. Even sometimes you say 70-30 is bad. You say, lawyer,
Let's try.
they will tell me that I'm a living timid person.
Yes.
And I have been in that for close to 2 decades. I've been involved in serious election petition matter and all that. Let me tell you, there are 4 reasons why people file petitions. People who are really fighting to win, they are less than 5%. Many of them know they cannot win, but they want to me, I am not a pushover. Or I can't get it, I will give him trouble, I will not let him enjoy. Then again, majorly, they file election petition cases to keep their followers. We will collect it tomorrow. We will collect it tomorrow. We will collect it tomorrow. Until, by the time the 10 months lapse, you can no longer go to the people. After the election, if you realign and say, oh, I'm not following A party, I'm going to B party, they will welcome you very well. But by the time you go to court and you are still with A party, and A party are now lost after 10 from the High Court to Court of Appeal to Supreme Court, you are now coming back, they say, no, you are not part of us. So you will now remain there for the next 4 years when they are rearranging their district. So this is the reason. Major, how many election petitions succeed on the average? It's less than 2%. Yes. I can tell you. But a lot of billions are wasted everywhere. Yeah. And again, how do you win an election petition, sir? We have 36 states in Nigeria, including FCT now, 37. We have 176,000 polling units, 676 and thereabout. Each of the polling units is the source from where the results go. It's the pyramid from the unit to the ward, to the local government, to the state, to the federal district and collation. So there are 5 stages of every election. Now, somebody has witnessed thuggery, somebody snatching ballot paper in so place. You now want to, in Kogi, for instance, you don't want to use somebody who is in Lagos and they told him what happened to come and narrate it. If they say, what is the color of the man that snatched the ballot paper? Will he be able to say? How tall is he? Will he be able to say? How will the court now say, because he has written down something as a witness statement, and they'll say, oh, there is a witness from Lagos who said he had it too. The evidence has said, if a fact is to be proved, in life 14, if it's a fact of something that can be perceived, it must be the evidence of somebody who perceived it. If it is something that can be seen, it must be the evidence of somebody who saw it. If it's the evidence of something that can be smelled, it must be the evidence of somebody who smelled it. If it's something that must be felt physically, it must be the evidence of somebody who feels physically. If a medical doctor writes a medical report, and I say, okay, this person has a dick, is this, it has been 4 years, or this, that. As a medical doctor, maybe he has died. You want to tender it, or you were sick on the day of the, you can't tender it. If you want to tender it, you will now diagnose that person again. Fresh, yes. But what he has found out can be a guide to you. You now do your own report. Yeah. You understand?
There are plenty of questions for you. Go ahead, Mariam. Okay, I was quite what they said concerning the European observation report.
Yes.
Why was inadmissible?
Yes.
What I thought was a bit technical.
It's not.
What was the real issue?
Yes. Now it's just like what we are doing now. This is our program.
Yes.
If somebody wants to tender it, you cannot. It is the cameraman who uses camera to view us. You don't even know how the camera works. Your own is to present. You understand? But when it comes to the technical aspect, he is the one that holds the camera. What type of camera? What is the range it can go? How bright is the picture? Yeah. Is it possible for the tone of voice to be doctored and manipulated and all that? Those are the technical questions which you, as a broadcaster organizer, may not be able to answer. I'm a lawyer, I don't know anything about medicine. You understand, though, when we are medical, you go and do research. Yeah. You to cross-examine the witnesses. Yeah. So these are the issues. And out of all these things, for instance, let's go to PDP. PDP has 27 witnesses. How do you want to prove election in all those polling units that you are alleging? LP had only 30 witnesses. 10 were said to be incompetent and all that for good reasons and so on and so forth. Now, it is not possible to prove it. In fact, in the case of Buhari and Obasanjo, I think part 941, Pastor Tolani of blessed memory said, to win an election petition is an Herculean task. He said, in fact, the 2007 presidential election, 2003 presidential election, is like the gory sight of Macbeth. In Macbeth Shakespeare, of Duncan in Macbeth Shakespeare. He said, but he described that election. Anybody who has read that Macbeth Shakespeare work. Now, despite describing it, because that description is showing that there was blood on the face of Duncan when he showed up at the banquet, very terrifying. The justice of the Supreme Court said the election was horrifying. However, he could not nullify it. He said to win an election it's a Herculean task. And now, he said to win a presidential election petition in Nigeria, no petitioner needs less than 2,500 witnesses. Are you with me? Yeah. So how can you now, we also know it, even in Lagos State, man, you cannot win a governorship election by 27 witnesses. So it's not just possible. Because we are talking, you know, they are not magicians. There's one case, Justice, he said, courts are not like a magician or the oracle at Ife, that we just wake up and pronounce another Oba in succession of a dead Oba. That this case cried to high heaven for admissible evidence. So when you don't have evidence, there is nothing the court can just do. I can tell you very well, from what we have seen yesterday, there were times, even though you are a lawyer or you are a judge or anybody anywhere, want to do any underhanded dealing and all that, when you see that the facts are naked, you will be able to deliver. Look at those states. The governor was removed, another one was installed in Ekiti State, in Osun State, in Enugu, so many other states. So it is practical fact.
Okay, Mariam.
So we hear that that LP and or PDP would be appealing this and going further. So even though, you know, a lot of us said we understood, it seemed clear, to them it may not seem clear, that there's still some things that, you know, they are challenging. Is it that it's not that clear, or, you know, what is this?
They have a chance.
It's a constitutional right. Yeah. You know, 5 justices have, you know, done their own bit. At the Supreme Court, 7 justices of the Supreme Court who are more senior to these people will do their own bit. And even if we look at it very well, some of us who have read newspapers before, you know, before, during, and after the election, we feel that what some of the political parties were talking about rigging, about this, about manipulation and all that, they didn't present it before the court. Rather, they let the meat of the issue, they are following the bone. They are talking about forgery, they are talking about forfeiture, they are talking about drugs, they are talking about certificate, non-qualification. Those won't play a major role in what they are alleging before the tribunal. So it is somehow funny. If they are alleging that somebody has rigged you out, it has to do with figure. They can't just proclaim you and say you are the winner. You must say, okay, in so-so state, I scored 15,000, they gave me 13. These 2,000, where was it? Prove it by evidence. The court will give it to you. That is my thinking. And when you look at it, without any apology to anybody, I think after June 12th, this is the best election that has been conducted in Nigeria. Anybody may not like it, but the truth is clear. In Enugu State, APC have more than 250,000 members. They only score 4,000. In Anambra State, they scored less than 10,000. Less than 1% of what Peter Obi scored. But yet, those elections were free and fair there. In Lagos, he beat APC to the game. In Akastina, APC lost. In so many other states, in Plateau State, APC lost. But it was not free in the state where they lost.
Okay, let me take this call.
Good losers.
Oluwatosin, thanks for calling. You're live.
Had to be.
Yeah,
Oluwatosin, you're live. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, this is, good morning, Auntie.
I can't hear you. Go ahead, please.
I said good morning. My contribution this morning is, my sister said something about a port. The minister went to the port authority and see a lot of cargo not being cleared.
It wasn't a paper review. Wasn't it? We didn't discuss it. We were just talking about the papers.
Yeah, I just want to have something about that.
Okay.
People don't just leave their goods in the port. It's because, one, the increment affects a lot. But I don't see people travel out of the country, go and bring in things, and decide to leave it in the port. That is number one thing I want to contribute this month. And number two, yesterday and day before yesterday was strike. Now, we resume strike today unfailingly in my place of work because I'm a clearing agent. I'm a port user. Grimages now refuse to reduce that 2 days for us. We are asking us to pay that additional payment of 2 days we didn't work. Which they should also look into the situation that this is a strike, it's national strike.
I'm not too sure.
Thank you very much, Oluwatosin. We've noted your points, and hopefully those interested have heard this, but we can make it a topic another day so that we can focus on it. Any comments for our guests?
Hafsa A on YouTube says, court is not emotion. No matter how glaring the case, you must be able to prove it. That is why the statue is blindfolded. You can't see what you're seeing, only what you are able to defend.
Yes, the 25% for the FCT for me was something I wanted cleared. But I'm also asking if this is being challenged and they're looking towards Supreme Court, is it that the tribunal was not clear enough on this for them, or are there any loopholes that could make the interpretation?
You see, for this kind of thing, especially in this part of the world, we don't we don't just accept defeat at times. You understand? Until we get there. But on the issue of that interpretation of, you know, FCT and all that, I can tell you that even like the tribunal said, there is no distinction between votes. Votes in Lagos State is not superior to the votes in Ondo. The votes in Kogi is not superior to the votes in Abuja. So if you are now elevating Abuja to be, he must score, the constitution said 25 for two-thirds. Now, two-thirds of 25, rather, of the 36 states. Now, 25% of two-thirds of the states. Now, if you are now saying it must be Abuja, specifically when he has met it in other states, means you are making Abuja to be, you know, to have assumed another dimension, to have reached a kind of pedestal that is higher than other, or that the votes in Abuja are more superior to other votes of the
Let me take this call from Muhyiddin, calling from Abuja. Thanks for calling, Muhyiddin.
Thank you. Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
I think I want to commend the industry of Justice of Supreme Court. Of course, was yesterday. They really dissected and.
I'm having difficulty hearing you, Muhyiddin. Could you speak louder, please? Hello, Muhyiddin. Okay, the gentleman that stood up in court, what was exactly his issue? What was the...
You see,
it's
a very funny one. Unfortunately, he's a very senior lawyer. Although you see, he apologized at the end of this, one of the most celebrated lawyers around. When judgment is being given, in fact, what they do, the practice, you can't enter again, and you can't go out. So if you are not ready, you don't come in. Once the judge starts to read this judgment, because you don't just distract. In fact, they will shut you down. If you want to come in, most of the time when they are delivering the judgment, they close the door. Those who have entered cannot go out. Those who are inside, they are there. You understand? So by you can't. I have never seen it before.
Wow.
In fact, I'm seeing it for the first time.
Wow.
You understand? It's a huge, blunder. It's a huge blunder. I have never seen it as young as I am. Yes, you can't.
How long did they read the judgment for?
Yeah, they read it for 12 hours, 30 minutes.
They read that, so you are not allowed to go in and come out.
You know, this is the thing. You know, this election matter. I have seen a situation whereby if they stand up there and go inside and come back, they will say they have gone to doctor the judgment. I have seen it before, where something happened and the judges sat, they took one or two cases, they went back, they came back and took another case. They now delivered the governorship and later. The next thing people were saying was that they went and rewrote the thing. You understand? When they are giving the judgment, like the man who says is confused, that is why there's appeal. You go there after the judgment has been completed, you say, my Lord, we thank you. In fact, you have to thank them. Whether you lose or you lose, it's only some cultures are creeping into our practice. Whether you have lost or you have won, you will stand up and say, thank you, my Lord, for the judgment. You have to appreciate them. We can see what they have done. Justice Ugo was saying that the quote and unquote favored candidate scored, less than one, certain percentage of this thing in the East. And in Lagos, they also want that if there is anybody who is lucky, it should be the Labour Party and all that, and that INEC must be a bad manipulator for them to have made their favored candidate to lose in some of those states, even in their own state. So those are the things that are there. They are very complex. Election matter is very complex.
One of the core things that the opposition parties were trying to prove was that INEC promised that the IREV would transmit results electronically.
Yes.
It might not be in your act, as they're saying, but the guidelines provided by INEC, shouldn't that have held for something in this case?
You see, let me tell you, man, some of these things, yes, INEC said it, but the law gave them the power, the latitude to bring rules. They can change the rule away. They have brought out the guidelines. Now, if they have discovered some errors or that the machine put in place is not working or was not working or functioning not very well as they thought, or that some of their members, if they have been compromised or there are some logistical issues, do you mean they should still go on and use the same thing? It may be worse than where we are now. So they still have the right to say, oh, we are not doing it this way. we are doing it this way, that latitude cannot be changed. The power to mar and to make lies with them. That is why the returning officer, another person cannot declare, like on that day, if the chairman of INEC should just say, oh, I'm not declaring the result, heaven will not fall. Because the Lord gave him the power. He must be the one to say the last word. That, oh, you are the winner or you are the loser. People don't know. Nobody can come and do the job for him. There will be an issue. So those are the things. We don't do it, but we like to criticize more in this part of the world.
This really makes me, I mean, I really appreciate that. Mariam said it earlier, but I didn't really catch it. But I think now I'm even appreciating lawyers a bit more based on all this. It's just interesting to
Better appreciate Nima.
Appreciate Nima better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to be going on a break. But let me take a few comments on social media before we run about it. I think in a nutshell, I mean, how would you therefore advise Nigerians to take this judgment, you know, going forward? Because many Nigerians
to those who are not satisfied, in every contest, there must be a loser and there must be a winner. And if it's not your turn today, don't be angry. And some things are sacrosanct. Even in America, they found the case of Bush and Gore. They found a lot of lapses in the decision, but they could not nullify the election. 3 of the judges abstained. They wrote a minority judgment saying that the election was not okay and all that. But still, they didn't nullify. With my little evidence, I think it's only in Kenya some time ago that nullified the presidential election. A lot of things follow. You know, it can lead to coup, it can lead to anything. Except when there is enough reason. Like in Buhari and INEC in 2007, 3 justices out of 7, they nullified the election. 4 upheld it. So that is to teach INEC some lesson that you are not doing well here. You have to work hard to make sure that this thing is good next time. So that's what you see every election year. The INEC has been reviewing their laws, its law, so that it can work perfectly to the system. But the issue of electronic voting, I wouldn't think whether we are mature for it yet. Even like we are saying here, my association, the Nigeria Association, who claim or we believe we are the most learned, we have conducted 2 elections on electronic voting. We are still in court today. The first one is still in court. The second one is still in court.
Imagine.
People say they rigged it. They will say by 12 o'clock we are seeing very party votes. By 4 o'clock, some deluge of vote will just come in. We have seen it. So if they can't do it with the NBA, lawyers, NBA, in court. Now let us come and see Nigeria.
Sorry, talking about NBA. Recently, you guys have been trending. First of all, you bought Pasuma. Is it Pasuma?
Yeah.
Portable. To your party. Were you there? I mean,
I was there, yeah.
Did you enjoy the...
No. It's like there's this guy, one posh guy, very, you know, clean guy. He said, even I myself with my status as a musician, I am not qualified to play in that kind of gathering. You understand? No, he was one of the old stars. Okay. But I think it's the height of it is unfortunate. You know, it's unfortunate to do that because, like, I think you were the one that said it. Oh, I think you're the one. About, it's not a liberal profession. That's all. It's either you fit in or you are not. In law school, you dare not wear a skirt that is not below your knee. Yes. And you see people, you know, religiously following it. If you want to wear native, it must be with cap. They allow native, but it must be with cap, properly dressed. So it's a very serious, you know, you can't see a business card color everywhere.
But maybe they wanted you to just let down your hair. Maybe think about removing the wig or something.
Well,
it
was funny. People did find it funny. People started driving out, you know, in anger. A lot of them.
It was an embarrassment.
It is. You believe that?
Did you live in anger?
I didn't even stay for 1 minute after.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, it's not worth it because what message is it passing? If I were to be without you know, dressing you in borrowed robes, if it were to be the day of Fela and Nikulapo and they brought him, he used to pass message. You understand? We can pick 1 or 2 things there. Lucky Dube or something, or people even in Nigeria, fast, and the rest of them, we can see. We understand. We are not demarketing anybody, however, but everybody has a brand. Everybody has a brand that he stands for. Others have a brand that lawyers stand for something, but they fell for another thing. That is just the truth of it.
Let me let you go. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you. Just get some clarity on the tribunal, you know, shed some light. But it's always good for us to hear from professionals like you. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go on our break. When we return, we're going to our regular Thursday gist. I think we have one small family gist to just jump in. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we'll try to have a few minutes left for just our regular Thursday gisting. So on social media, there was a story of young ladies, I think single ladies, praying in church in their wedding gowns, activating their faiths because they wanted to get married. And the whole video went viral. People criticizing them, saying that it reeks of desperation. Why are people praying for husbands and stuff like that? What are your thoughts on this? Because it's something that for those of us who go to church, we see often sometimes where, you know, men and women, especially women who are hoping to get married, are called forward for prayer, special prayers. But in this case, they were asked to bring a wedding gown to church, and they dressed in their gowns, activating their faith, hoping that would help. When you saw the video, what came to mind? You see, I'll be calling you first now.
You come on.
I just laughed. And I laughed because when we teach manifestation, these are some of the things we teach. We teach people to feel it forward, right? And sometimes we realize that it's not the thing you're looking for, that it's not the thing itself that is going to give you joy. That's not what you really want. You want the feeling of the thing. You want to have money. For what? To be able to buy things and feel good about it, right? But you can learn to feel it like it's already there before it now finally comes into manifestation. So if their pastor says, you want to get married, you have been praying, you have been working hard, now I want you to take another step of faith to feel like it's already happened, there's nothing wrong in it. It's just what they are teaching, what they believe in, and it may seem to other people who perceive it or who watch it as desperation. But you really don't know how much I manifest some of the things I have today, what sort of things I do to manifest. It's just that I did not call a church to say, we have to do this for you to see, but I know that for me to be able to get to a certain place, I have to put myself in that shoe. Now they have to do their own physically. Sometimes we do it in meditation, we visualization, fantastic. We visualize it. We see ourselves. We practice how you laugh when you have the thing, how you will act when you have the thing, how you will look when you have the thing, how you will dress when you have that thing you're desiring to have. And now these people are doing their own physically. There's nothing wrong in it. And I really didn't like why it came under a lot of criticism, because if you're not there, if you don't wear that shoe, please don't judge anybody.
Thank you. What are your thoughts, Mariam? Why or Mariam? Who wants to go first?
Mariam.
Okay, I didn't like it. I felt that that once again, you know, religion has taken people's desperation or need for something and made like a drama out of it. It just came to me, it was too dramatic for me. The dressing up in the outfit itself. I mean, you could do the same prayers without having to dress. I just felt like it was theatrical. It was too much. It would not, I don't know anything about God, you know, I'm not God's spokesperson, but I feel that he hears your words, you know, he knows your heart. And when you pray to him, he hears you. I don't know about the dressing up and coming to church like that. I just feel it just did not sit right with me. I'm open to learning, you know, what the right thing is, but it just didn't sit well with me. It's okay to have the dream to get married. That's fine. But also, I feel that in doing that, concentrate on yourself, building yourself mentally, spiritually, financially. Yeah. To have them dress up for me just felt like you were dramatizing it, making almost a mockery for me of where they were. There's no way that God would not listen if those women had come together to just have their prayers normally without having to wear that dress.
Okay. What are your thoughts? Because some people will tell you that I have prayed, I have fasted, I've trusted God, but taking a step further in activating my faith is, for me, I believe, oh, this is something I should do to believe, see myself to feel that moment. So I guess, as Busy said, it depends on who you are and what appeals to you, resonates with you. YK, what are your thoughts on the video?
For me, looking at the video, it looks like a horror movie.
You go the other way.
I mean, I just watched the video and I'm like,
Why?
I mean, why are you wearing wedding dresses when there is no man? You know, it's, to me, that desperation. Is that oh,
No,
I thought they were showing the video. I was, I
were
wanted
showing
to
it.
watch it on the big TV.
Yes.
So,
you know, have you watched that Stepford Wives?
Yes,
You
Stepford
know,
Wives.
it's like a horror movie. Stepford Wives is like a horror movie.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how I see it. I don't.
maybe they shouldn't have recorded it. Maybe it should have been a private meeting, because these are, you see, as I said,
It's not about recording, Mariam.
but is the fact that we see the visuals, that's why it looks like a...
As you are alive, can you go and sleep in a coffin?
Why would
For
I
what?
do that?
You wouldn't want to. It's like a horror movie.
Okay, you
Yeah,
make your point.
In their wedding dresses.
But I think...
Is it because they bury people in their wedding dresses?
No, you don't do things. To me, I would rather pray if I'm desperate to get married. I rather pray. I would rather pray my own prayer, not public prayer.
Well, it works for some people. Let's not forget the fact that some people have activated their faith this way, and they've received their answers. So some people,
their answers would have come whether they've dressed.
Well, we don't know that.
You don't know that.
So I'm just saying there are different ways of looking at it.
I find this to be almost in the same line as those who are giving insecticide and stuff to take because it will cleanse them. You know, they'll give them soap or something like that to drink so that it will cleanse them from within, because God, or those religious leaders that would simulate a sexual activity with people so that they could get pregnant. That's how I see it. I feel that we're taking advantage of people in their desperation
Exactly.
to create drama. That's how it comes across to me.
I disagree with that. I don't see it as... So there are two different things. If what you're doing is hurting you and hurting somebody else, and you are forced to do it, so like those ones that they'll tell to come and drink kerosene or something, you know that kerosene is harmful. So that is hurting you and hurting your family members at the end of the day. But putting on a dress is not hurting anybody. You use your money to buy the dress. And I also believe in freedom of expression. So we worship in different ways.
So will they buy another dress if they get married?
Hold on first. They can buy, they can keep this one. It depends. We worship in different ways. We express in different ways. We have the Igbe people who will wear their white and dance round for whatever they want to have and their way of worship. We don't condemn that. That's their style. Now, though in Christianity, we like things to be very simple, you know, talk to your God and all of that, we've seen people who would stand and shout their prayers as if God is deaf. And then they get their answers. And we see people who sit down quietly and just do their prayer, and they get their answers. So it depends on how you are, how you express. And if you say, okay, I want to bring my, take for instance, vision boarding. So there's something we teach in coaching, which is pick pictures of things you want to be, your dreams. For instance, the car that you aspire to have. Put it in front of your mirror or put it in front of your wardrobe and see it every morning and pass and, you know, speak to it. This is my car. This is this. We all do that. I have a vision board. And so far, so good. All the things I put, in fact, I need a new vision board because I've achieved everything I put in the first vision board. I need to do another one. If I go outside and I put the vision board everywhere, they will say this is doing something else. Or why? God can hear you. Why do you have to put the picture and be looking at it? But that is my way of
But
getting,
your vision board,
hold on now,
wait, I must ask you
what
before
I
I
want.
forget. That vision board that you put, did you go and paste it in the church?
No, so I'm not a pastor. I don't run a church. If I am a pastor... And
These ones are not pastors now.
No, hold on now. They are in the church. It was an instruction in the church. Let's pray this prayer, wear this to show that we are ready to receive this. Probably when Holy Spirit sees you on the dress, they will now bring the husband. And they decided to go for it. I'm sure a lot more people in that church said, I can't do this one. And they went away.
But
we must not judge the act because it's not hurting anybody.
We didn't judge them.
There was also
let me take this call.
Wedding cake, I think that they had to cut. I don't.
Did they cut a wedding
Yes.
cake?
Let me take Obi from Akute. Thanks for calling.
You need to be circumspect.
Hello.
Good morning, you are beautiful. Ladies of
Obi,
you
you're
are
live.
beautiful women. Odajilu, Welcome.
Thank you.
God bless you. Please, I want to comment on the women that wore wedding gowns.
Yes.
Please, it's not by force for somebody to marry. God has ordained every woman to have a husband. Why they wish themselves well, they should not go to the extent of wearing wedding gown. Because wearing wedding gown, like Yemi said, it makes it horror as if what is going on in Nigeria. We are Africans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I understand the part where seeing a picture of a hall full of women in wedding gowns can look very funny, you know, and I see the fact that I think it was Father Ugu, let me get his name here. Father Kelvin Ugu expressed disgust at the viral video of ladies wearing wedding gowns. He said that this is not Christian, it's disgusting. He said that they are offering wedding prayer testing events for husbands. Now, let's come to the issue of the desperation of getting married. That even if you as an individual, you desperately want to get married, should your pastor therefore build on that or feed on that desperation?
To create a day.
To create a nice content. So if you look at it that way, that, okay, yes, I'm desperate, I want to get married because I want to settle down. I feel like I've achieved all I want to achieve, but it's just a spouse thing. But should I therefore go to an event where my pastor is now saying, okay, Kuku, bring your wedding gown, let us pray to God about it. Do you think that was appropriate?
As I said, I don't think it was appropriate. Many churches already know that they have singles in there, and they do so many programs where you're talking about singles, all the things you need to do before you get there, the single women, the single men. I don't know if they're going to do grooms dressed like that and dancing. And
that would be nice to see.
You know, so it's not...
Why is it women that they do it for?
And then there's a cake. And then where's the man? Where's the man beside them?
They're there to manifest the man.
Where's the...
No, see.
What if you go and manifest arm robber?
No, I don't think that's why.
So let's ignore the act and get the significance of what they are.
No, it's the act we're talking about. We understand the significance, and we understand that people have desires, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to get married. It's a beautiful thing. Many people are enjoying marriages, but I just feel that do not put, you know, when you have a group of single women, this is what they talk about, and then you're like, I know what to give you. Put on your, go and look for wedding dresses, put them on, and come and pray. When there are so many other things you can be doing, all the counseling classes, all those...
But I've heard of stories of... Yeah, go ahead. I'll come to you, BC. Let me take this call. Right. Kilani calling from Otta. Good morning, Kilani. Hello. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yes, ma'am. The women are funny because women are very funny. What they are saying is like like an horror film. I just have to say, men too, that are looking for a wife, they go and put on clothes, and because they want to do it, you know.
All right.
I think that when we pray, God can hear.
Thank you very much, Kilani. Go ahead.
There are people they tell to go and bathe in the river. We don't see it, we don't hear it. It's a way of manifesting, right? So let me ask this question. If you're a pastor in a church and 80% of your women come to you to pray for them to get married, all the problem they want to solve, they are good though, have self-esteem, they have confidence, they are big bosses in their offices, they are doing well, they are paying good tithes, they have money. And all they come to you is, pray for me, I want to get married. Pastor, I want to get married. Pastor, my relationship is not working. Pastor.
They are solving a problem.
Yes, won't you be thinking of, okay, what are the best ways? What else can I do? We have done it's part of it.
Prayed, you fasted.
You prayed, you have fasted. What else? What else? How do I get these people to visualize this thing? How do I get them to see it? You know, see those things that be not as though they were. How do I get
They
there?
have to dress it.
My sister.
You cannot teach them.
Without a man, no.
The faith that we talk about as tiny as a mustard seed, it now requires me to dress the mustard seed.
If you want to get a contract, you want to get a contract now, you say bring a contract document.
I would not like to see my daughter in
No.
activity. So what are we saying? What are we saying? I would not like to hear that my daughter will wear
I did not do
Case closed.
and I still got married. Right? But I will not.
As a coach, would you have a group of young girls, your daughter included, dressed like this to manifest?
I'm not a pastor.
I'm asking
I'm
as a coach. Yes, as a coach, you do vision board.
But I won't do this type. I will not do this type.
But as a coach, wait, you see, as a coach, if I have 5, 6 private people, we're not putting on social media.
Yeah.
We call ourselves,
Yes.
you call them their wedding dresses in the houses, and we are praying and trusting God. I can activate my faith. However, don't judge. Just like this guy was going to church and we're posting it. It's a private thing.
Yeah,
I know some people that have done it in the past and they've gotten married.
Yeah,
Some men too have activated their wives and they have gotten.
You are giving us fabu. I'm going now, fabu.
Okay.
No,
It's not
fine.
fabu.
You think.
It's not fabu.
This is not the first time it's
No, it's not the first time I've seen. We've seen it, I think, about last year or so. Why can't
If they got that wedding dress and as they bought it like this, the man just stood beside them, bam, and they married them immediately. Even then, I will still say, na spirit.
Work that way.
I will say, na spirit.
Miracle, no, they tire Jesus.
No. You must give your manifestation time. You must give it time to manifest. There's a
Okay,
time
can I ask you a question?
in the manifestation.
If they don't find husband in the next 5 years,
Their faith is not strong enough.
The wedding dress from Dubai. Maybe the dress was not good enough.
People are terrible.
they have to go to India. Like our
Listen,
president,
we have to
right?
go. We have to go. They have to go. But I think
New wedding dress from India.
it does. Okay, we point. So yes, you see, the world.
Their struggle.
Yes, you must appreciate and pray. When I saw that video, the first thing I said was that Father Lord Almighty, their prayer answered them. That was the first thing that came to mind. Father God Almighty, answer these people according to their heart's desire. God bless them. That's what they need. If that's their own issue. Some women are dying for contracts. Some are dying for they want to buy more houses. Then what's her name? Tope wants 40 houses by 40.
She has a vision.
Yeah, so these are people who are doing ready. So according to your prayer, may God answer you. Amen. That is all we can take on today's show. We'll see you tomorrow.
We're coming tomorrow.
Bye for now.